So today we are looking at a record-breaking season set by Osi Umenyiora. Even though Osi Umenyiora had his two highest sack seasons in 2005 and 2007 with 14.5 sacks and 13 respectively, his 2010 season is one that sticks out to me. That year, Osi played in 16 games, had a respectable 11.5 sack season, but led the NFL in forced fumbles with 10 when Roman Harper and James Harrison were tied for second with 6. Fun fact, I actually gave the nickname The Stripper to Osi Umenyiora as a 12-year-old boy in the stands of MetLife Stadium, and those 10 forced fumbles were also tied for an NFL record for most forced fumbles forced in a single season in league history, sitting atop the list with Dwayne Harper in 1993, Charles Tillman in 2012, which is bonkers for a cornerback, and Robert Mathis in 2013. But at the time in 2010, it was only Harper and Osi that sat atop that list with 10 forced fumbles. Now, an important asterisk to include, the NFL only started to collect the forced fumbles as a stat in 1993, so we have no clue how many fumbles a guy like LT forced in his career since he retired in 1993. But good for Osi, he is sitting 15th all-time in forced fumbles in league history. But the most impressive part of his 2010 record season was the stretch of 3 consecutive games where Osi had a total of 7 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in each of those games. First came against Da Bears, where he had 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. That's the same game where that defense put up 12 sacks on Chicago on Sunday Night Football. The next week against Houston, he had 2 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And then the next week against the Lions, he had another 2-sack, 2 forced fumble game. And there you have it. The Stripper, Osi Umenyiora, had a pretty fun record-breaking 2010 season. Peace, and I'll see you tomorrow. Today, we are talking Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Played with the Giants from 1987 to 1992, Baker came into the league with the touchdown maker nickname thanks to his junior college days at West Los Angeles Community College, where he recorded an unprecedented 31 touchdowns in 2 years and even scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game. But his most shining moment came in Super Bowl 25 when Jeff Hostetler threw Baker a beautiful ball towards the left corner of the end zone. Some may even call it a perfect throw.
And that was a perfect throw.
But how fitting for the TD maker to catch the only receiving touchdown for the Giants in that game. The origin of Stephen Baker's nickname actually goes against how one is supposed to obtain a nickname, which he actually gave to himself. We played street ball, and I used to score 4 or 5 touchdowns every time we played those games, so I was like, that sounds cool. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Yes, it does sound cool, Stephen Baker. He used to write the nickname all over peachy folders. I don't even know what peachy folders are. He used to carry around in school with drawings of football players stenciled on the outside. But when he got to high school and finally started to play for real, he kept the nickname to himself. He didn't even tell anyone about when he scored 15 touchdowns in his first season at East Los Angeles Junior College. It was only the next year in a game where he caught 4 passes, all for touchdowns, that a reporter came to him and said, "You know what? That was the best performance I've ever seen." And the next day, the reporter wrote in a newspaper that Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, goes wild. After his 1992 season, he injured his back and retired, but fun fact about his 1992 season, according to Football Outsiders, Baker had the worst catch rate of any wide receiver from 1991 to 2011, catching only about 28% of his passes thrown to him, but good for the touchdown maker. We're going to ignore all that and just reminisce on his touchdowns.